Heyo everybody, Haku here with my review for Tower of God chapter 349 or season 2 episode 269. So yeah, I guess we'll go ahead and discuss it. It was basically just normal chapter, nothing huge, no massive reveals, just continuing on the good fun adventure that we've been getting lately. But let's discuss it part by part, because there are still things to discuss. I think especially with some of the stuff we got in the blog and just some general stuff that I feel about this arc and where things are going. And don't worry, it's not going to be negative. I actually have a lot of positive things to say about this arc and the way the story's been going. But either way, before we do that, let's talk about each of the parts of this chapter. So with the first part, we see Medley poking the sworn enemy, which was cute, if not very unsafe. Apparently he's knocked out for days, and we knew from the beginning, or at least I did upon reading, he seriously won't be. It's a copy of Bomb. It's a sworn enemy. He's not going to be knocked out for days, because Bomb is, of course, special main character man. Sung and Batis say that they've died multiple times to find the exit and the path to it that can be done quickest, and it can be done in a quarter of a day, but it is a bit dangerous because of the giant soldier and all the other guards and stuff like that. So, pretty much they say that average heroes, is that what they call them, or warriors? Average heroes, warriors, whatever. It takes them around a week. Sung passed this stage in 2 days, but, he's special. He's very strong. So, he says that 2 days is super rare, but it's an average of a week for normal people to make it through that stage. So that's how much time they have left. So pretty much we cut from that to go see Kun's group in the next part, and Kun just skips straight to the level C quests. We have Octopus Kim, and everything with that was funny. I thought that it was funny just seeing the reaction from, Rack and Kun and Boro. From there we have the Octopus Kim floods the town with ink. Kun tries to hold him back and all and says, I can't use Anakor because Beta's not with me. So we do have confirmation now that Beta isn't with him, which is something pretty important for the arc. In multiple ways, because A, we get to see Beta off doing other stuff if we do see him, when we do see him. And B, because Anakor is kind of an important power-up for Kun, and now he can't use it right now. So we see the big breeder, and he increases the difficulty, and Kim shatters the shield, the little lighthouse barrier thing. Cutting away from that so that we don't see how it ends up being resolved, Bomb says that he wants to take the shortest route because they can't take a whole day to get there, because he says that if Kun or Sachi spawned in this stage, then they'll probably pass the stage faster than Sung. So I love that. That is probably my favorite thing here, is how much Bomb trusts and thinks about his teammates, where he's like, well, if it's Sachi or Kun, then we don't have this time. So the sworn enemy then goes on the attack. He woke up early, of course. Bomb wrecks him so that Batis can get to Medley, who is perfectly fine. So we see, though, that the sworn enemy killed one of the robot guard dudes, so he can attack stuff other than Bomb, I guess, when he sees it as a threat or an impediment to getting to Bomb. Because I thought, like before, I had said, I don't think he'll go after specifically attack anyone but Bomb, because he's Bomb's sworn enemy, and he's supposed to be trying to keep the peace and balance. So if he's attacking people other than Bomb, he's only supposed to be attacking his particular target, the person he's the sworn enemy of. But apparently if he can't get to Bomb, we see that he can attack other people. So just interesting to see how the programming works out. And then at the very end, the giant soldier busts a hole in the seed, the little soldiers start leaking in, and Bomb activates the thorn to just put down the sworn enemy. And that's where we left off. So see, good, just progress the adventure. We had Kun and them get into a fight, Bomb get into a fight, and each of them, they're both leading forward into the story. Just a generally good chapter. So for the blog, Siu says that he specifically wrote this so that there would be a dark feeling in the scenes on the inside and a light feeling outside, similar to what he said in past chapters. He mentions that for Bomb's sworn enemy, because Bomb's an irregular, he has the thorn, he has all of these crazy powers and abilities, everything about Bomb can't be copied by the data. so the sworn enemy can't copy everything that Bomb has. So that pretty much kind of, I don't know, just finding that out, I mean, I think most of us kind of assumed that, but at this point it kind of makes Bomb's sworn enemy seem kind of like he got nerfed a bit. Like Bomb can just activate the Thorn or use some crazy irregular nonsense and beat him pretty easily. But I mean, no complaints, because it makes a lot of sense, and I think it would kind of hold the arc back if all we saw, like if Bomb was just fighting his sworn enemy all arc and we never saw anything else coming out of all of that. So yeah, I'm totally fine that it works out like that. I think it's better because it makes sense. And yeah, pretty much he just explains that there are limits to replicating Bomb. He also says that Bomb is more of a melee wave controller, but Yu Hansung is ranged and uses sort of alteration of Shinsu and counters to attacks. So I'm not really sure why he brought that up here, but yeah, just the difference between Bomb and Yu Hansung's styles. And of course we know that Bomb learned his long-range Shinsu abilities from Yu Hansung, which is why he doesn't like using them, because he says that they're, well, A, he doesn't like Yu Hansung, and B, he thinks that they're designed to hurt and kill and doesn't like that so very much. It's why, even though he isn't as bad with his dislike of Ha Jinsung, he at least uses Ha Jinsung's moves sometimes, but he doesn't really like using them a lot. It was explained in blogs a long time ago, because he feels like they're made to kill and attack. He doesn't really like using them that much. So again, cool that Bomb is, even in the abilities he knows but doesn't use, it's layered like that. Then the last thing he says in the blog is that next week we're going to find out how mean the big breeder is. So we're getting confirmation that we're moving that far enough into the story next week. So, chapter as a whole, I thought it was a fun adventure, and I think that's something that Tower of God needs right now. I think that CU has had this, and it's not just CU, I think it's people who write long-running series, like series that go on for a long, long time, no matter what the medium is. I always feel like there are writers who look at it, and you know the old saying, like, you can't see the forest for the trees, like you're so focused on the little details that you can't see the big picture. Well, I think so many people that write these long-ass stories, which I love long-ass stories, they can't see the trees because of the forest. I feel like so many times that writers are so focused on the big picture and telling the big overall story that they sort of forget the little things, like the character relationships from chapter to chapter, episode to episode, movie to movie, book to book. Or they forget the just making a small story, a little part of the overall story really good. So I think what needs to happen now is that CU should really focus on just making a good arc, and I think that's what this should be. It should be a good adventure, it should be a good arc. Of course, things should tie into future arcs, into the overall story, but I feel like so much, especially lately, we've seen so many arcs that, like, the arcs were basically made for the overall story. Like, they were so focused on setting things up for later arcs in the overall story, instead of just tying what's happening now into that, they were so focused on setting all that up. Like, even the Name Hunt Station, which I liked, a huge point of the Name Hunt Station was just setting up new powers and abilities for people, setting up that Andrasi and Ship's team was back in the picture, setting up things for the princesses in the future, and it was just setting up so much stuff in the future that even though I thought it was a great story on its own, I really liked Name Hunt Station, there were things that could have done more. We could have focused more on the 10 bosses and more on the fights with them. And I think we need to do that for this arc. We need to focus on the stages, the stage tests. We need to just forget about all that stuff a little bit. We need to, a little bit, forget about the princess stuff. That'll come when it comes. Have some stuff that connects into it, but don't focus too much on setting it up. Same thing with Irregulars, with Sahard's family. Have some new reveals and big secrets in there. Have some connections for the future. But don't let that overwhelm this to where this isn't a good story. Because if you focus too much on that and don't tell a good story of them traveling through the stages, then it's just going to feel like this was a big info dump and the little stuff didn't matter. And it should feel like the little stuff matters. So I really think we need this to just be a good adventure. We need it to be a good arc. We need it to work. We need CU to worry about it being a good arc and not about it progressing the full story. So I think that's what the series needs at this point. Because that's what most good arcs from most long-running series are like. But I love just particular things from this chapter. I love Bomb's high opinion of Kun and Sachi. I think mi-eum is cute. She's really grown on me. I like the character. Kun, Boro, and Rak were funny as always. I like how things are escalating with both groups and leading both groups into meeting each other later on. Bottas and Medley are such a cute family that I really hope get a happy ending here. Really do not want anything bad to happen to Medley or Bottas, because that would really suck. Yoo Sung and Andrasi, I think, are both great in the role that they're playing right now. And lastly, I wonder where Beta and the other group could be. It'll be interesting to see if we get to see them on another stage doing their own thing, or if Bomb and Kun's group is going to move to another stage and then meet them once there. And we're not going to see what they've been doing up until that point. So it'll be cool to see where CU sort of puts them in during this arc, and what role they even have. But yeah, or maybe Beta could even be with wherever Barrow and Irude are, and we know that Irude is probably searching for it on her own. So yeah, either way, that's it for this. I did enjoy it, and I'm going to give it 8 out of 10 because I thought it was a really good, just progressing the story adventure chapter. So yeah, 8 out of 10, 8 level C quests out of 10. I enjoyed it. Like, if you did like the video, comment down there to tell me what you thought of this chapter, what you thought of my thoughts on it. Subscribe for more Tower of God, much more on the channel. Follow on Twitter, and I'll talk to you there, try to keep you updated there and stuff for the channel. And if you want to, just ask, and I'll give you a link to our Discord server if you want to be part of that. So that's it. Thank you once again for watching, and we'll see you all next time.